Why Rashford loves making this specific run and how he does it so effectively, which former Spanish legend does Rashford remind me of, and what criticisms do I have of Rashford, and how can he improve on them to potentially become a world-class player. But before I go any further, let me tell you about the sponsor of today's video, Private Internet Access. Private Internet Access hides your IP address and encrypts your internet connection. It works with all major streaming services, including BBC iPlayer and ITV, from wherever you are in the world. I'm currently in Spain and so I cannot watch those channels. However, with Private Internet Access, I can with the click of a button, setting my location to the UK, from where I can then watch the World Cup matches completely for free with perfect quality. And so Private Internet Access has become essential for me during this World Cup. Private Internet Access is offering Atlantis Football subscribers 4 extra months completely free when you sign up for a 2-year deal. That's 4 completely free extra months on a 2-year deal. So even after the World Cup, you can still enjoy all the benefits that come with Private Internet Access and save money at the same time. The link will be left in the description below for you to get Private Internet Access now. And of course, a big thank you to Private Internet Access for sponsoring today's video. A link will be left in both the description and the comment section below for you to click at the end of this video. So along with his Manchester United teammates Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes, Marcus Rashford put in a man of the match display in the last game of the World Cup group stage against Wales, scoring a Ronaldo-esque free kick that was arrowed into the top corner before winning the ball back high up the pitch in Wales' defensive third, allowing Harry Kane to drive a ball across the box towards the back post for Phil Foden to put into the net, before Rashford would then add a third for England after making a well-timed run in behind his fullback down the right side, cutting inside in the box and releasing a left-footed strike that went under Danny Ward, giving him his second goal of the game and his third of the tournament. But a big question for Manchester United fans is obviously, how can we see the Rashford that Southgate has at the World Cup for Ten Hag back in Manchester? Well, first we need to analyse how to actually get the best out of Marcus Rashford. So Rashford is what I would describe as an inside forward, meaning that he plays his best football from an advanced wide position, preferably from the left, and making diagonal runs in behind the opposition's back line, between the fullback and centre-back. And if we're honest, he's probably one of the best attackers around at doing this. We saw this in the first half of the game against Wales, where England won the ball back high up the pitch, and Rashford's reaction speed allows him to race away from Nico Williams, the right back, making a run in behind Wales' back line, and Kane threads the ball through, and Rashford probably should score, but Danny Ward does make a great one-on-one save. Despite not scoring from this situation, this move showcases what Rashford is best at, and how he can create high-level goal-scoring opportunities for himself, and when he plays alongside players like Harry Kane, who do have the vision and quality to find his well-timed runs, he's going to continuously get these type of chances. And we've already seen him do this for Ten Hag at Manchester United a few times this season. Against Liverpool, we saw Ten Hag revert away from his more methodical possession-based style that brought him so much success at Ajax, and instead against Klopp he went with a more pragmatic, quicker transition in attack, and it paid off not just for United in general with a 2-1 victory, but also for Rashford individually. For his goal and United's second, we saw Rashford initially maintain a high and wide position ahead of Trent even when Liverpool have the ball, and it ends up at the feet of Martial, and Rashford is now well ahead of Trent and can make a perfectly angled, well-timed run in behind, and when Martial threads the exquisitely weighted through ball, Rashford is able to accelerate away from Joe Gomez, running down on goal, and unlike against Wales, he had the composure and the technique to finish past the on-rushing Alisson. We also saw the same against Arsenal. As the ball goes into Eriksen just inside the middle third, we see that Rashford is already anticipating the opportunity of a through ball, and already is making a move to get goal side of the ball watching Ben White at right back. And as the ball goes into Bruno Fernandes, we see that Rashford is positioned in the optimal position between the right back Ben White and the centre back Saliba, and this is key to his signature run in behind. If he was positioned wide of Ben White, then his run's going to take him into a wider position, making it harder to score from this sort of one-on-one position, but being between the right back and centre back allows him to angle his run so he ends up in a more central one-on-one position, making it a much higher goal scoring probability position to shoot from. And that is the key to why Rashford excels so much from these types of positions. It's not the end result and his finish, it's how he's able to read the momentum of a move and put himself into the optimal position before he even makes a run in behind. So just logically, if Ten Hag wants to get the best out of Rashford, he has to work out attacking patterns of play that allow allow Rashford to make those runs and get into those sorts of goal scoring positions more consistently. And that's why I think he has to play from the left. Playing as a centre forward completely inhibits his ability to make those runs and forces him to drop off and hold up the ball a lot more. And we did see Pep Guardiola do a similar thing with David Villa, transforming a player who at Valencia prior to his £34 million 2010 move to Barcelona was very much a centre forward, a goal scorer, but by moving Villa over to the left of a front three, playing as an inside forward like Pedro was on the right, both either side of Messi as the false 9, Villa was able to perfectly fit into Guardiola's system. Villa wasn't a false 9, he didn't excel at dropping off from the front line and linking the play with his back to goal, or receiving the ball between the lines and driving at the back line as Messi did. And we saw with Villa's 2 goals against Real Madrid in 2010-2011 in Barcelona's 5-0 defeat of Mourinho's side, how this can be executed perfectly. We see for Villa's first and Barcelona's third of the game that he finds himself in a central position. And because the pass isn't on, he has to check his run, adjust his body positioning, but you can see he positions himself between Ramos and Pepe. And when Messi opens himself up ready to thread that through ball, Villa arches his run and times it perfectly, moving in behind Pepe, who has lost all bearings of where Villa is, and Messi's well-weighted pass sets Villa through, who finishes the opportunity. And I do think these types of runs from central positions are where Marcus Rashford needs to improve in terms of his off-the-ball movement. He is exceptional, top level even when it comes to making those diagonal runs from the left in behind the back line, inside the middle third of the pitch, but around the box in the final third in more congested zones, we don't see him able to make the same sort of runs that we saw Villa make in that previous example. If we look at Villa's second and Barcelona's fourth in this game, we see a goal more reminiscent of what we've seen from Rashford this season in the Premier League and at the World Cup. Messi has dropped off between the lines inside the middle third, but Real Madrid are playing quite a high line, and Villa out of picture is holding his width over on the left side, and if he makes a move too early in field, then it becomes easy for Ramos to track his run. But because he makes a diagonal run from out to in, just as Messi gets into a position to play that defence splitting pass between Pepe and Ramos, Ramos at right back can't get his body positioning right, and is in no man's land as Messi's pass is perfect yet again, and Villa's run in behind takes him into a slightly wider one-on-one position, but the result is the same as the first. And Villa's second goal showcases the skill that Rashford at a relatively young age seems to have mastered. Villa, like Rashford, was much better at making those well-timed runs in behind the back line and then finishing when in and around the box, specifically from those one-on-one positions, rather than dropping off and having to hold up the ball as he would as a centre forward. And so by using him as an inside forward from the left, he was able to get into these sorts of positions a lot more often than if he was a centre forward. And this is why I've always preferred Rashford from wider positions. I feel like his best attributes, which are his movement in behind from wide positions and his one-on-one finishing, are wasted when he plays as a centre forward. And so I think for this season, Ten Hag definitely has to go with Martial as the centre forward and Rashford playing as an inside forward from the left with Garnacho as his understudy. The problem with Rashford is, like against Wales, Arsenal and Liverpool, he shows top level ability, but like Martial over the course of a whole season, it is too few and far between for a top level player. But if he is able to show these moments a lot more consistently, that is the key to him going from a very good player to a potential world class player. However, despite him excelling in what I've just described, he does have some major deficiencies in his game that I think are holding him back from moving to the next level. The first is when he comes up against a defensive unit that sits deep and doesn't allow space in behind the backline to develop, which is where he struggles to have an impact on the game, and he can't get into those same sorts of quality goal scoring positions. And so when United aren't able to transition the attack quickly and are forced to break down a low defensive block, I often feel like Rashford takes too long on the ball, being indecisive with his next move and not having the same sort of one-on-one dribbling ability as players like Mbappe, Vinicius and Dembele all have to a much higher level. When I watch Rashford against sides where United do dominate possession, he suffers from what a lot of other pacey forwards suffer from as well, and that is that his game is far too one-dimensional. But how can he add greater variety to his attacking output? Well, I think that whilst Rashford does need to take some responsibility and improve his decisiveness, moving the ball quicker, whilst also improving his close ball control and short passing interplay in congested areas, Ten Hag can also aid his development. I think that Rashford would benefit from having a fullback like Shaw behind him who's constantly providing those overlaps, as if the opposition fullback who Rashford's against drops off to cover Shaw's forward run, then Rashford has the space to shift the ball inside and drive into the space and either find a forward pass into the box or release a shot or a cross. Alternatively, if the fullback holds his position, then Rashford can simply slip Luke Shaw in down the line with a well-weighted pass, putting Shaw into a great crossing position. Also, by having a more technically gifted left-sided central midfielder on his inside, that will also improve Rashford's interplay down the flank in congested areas, and so I definitely think that Rashford benefits heavily from having Eriksen alongside Casemiro as opposed to either Fred or McTominay. But I think by modelling his game on Mbappe, we can see Rashford get to that world-class level. Mbappe is a player who's anything but one-dimensional, having the ability to run in behind his fullback, whilst also being able to receive the ball to feet and race at his defender, knowing exactly what he wants to do as soon as he receives the ball to his feet, and his acceleration combined with his quick body movements and ball control makes him probably one of the best one-on-one dribblers in world football at the moment. Obviously, it's going to take a major development in Rashford's game for him to get anywhere near Mbappe's level, but he is a similar type of forward, and if he can add this sort of top-level dribbling ability alongside the interplay in congested areas, and then work on his ability to get into goal-scoring positions in and around the box, then Rashford is going to look like an unrecognisable player to one that struggled towards the end of Solskjaer's reign and under Rangnick as well. So I definitely think Ten Hag using players like Luke Shaw, Eriksen and Bruno Fernandes around Rashford definitely gets the best out of him. And as well as using him from the left side as an inside forward, allowing him to make those diagonal runs into goal-scoring positions, I think that is definitely the key to not only Rashford sustaining his current form, but also improving and becoming a potential world-class player. So thank you for watching. Let me know what you think of Rashford in the comment section below. Check out some of my other videos which will be in the description. Give the video a like and subscribe to the channel and click the bell so you do get notified when my videos come out. And you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram for some more content.